move on. Uh, so pretty much love is a skill to be learned rather than just emotion to be felt. I love that. Alan de Borton is someone I met on YouTube, and I've loved him ever since. He's a Jew. He's an atheist. That's that part I probably don't agree with, but I've learned a lot from him concerning relationship, and I've gone ahead to buy his book. Most of what I've learned from him in on YouTube is summarizing this book, Relationships, the School of Life, that he runs. And this is coming from the book, from the video also. He says, love is a skill to be learned rather than just an emotion to be felt. Again, don't forget, we said pleasure and pain. You use them. Don't let them use you. A lot of people have failed in relationship because they're looking for a relationship that will just give them pleasure. It's nothing like that in the real world. Nothing will always give you pleasure. The same thing as giving you pleasure today will give you pain tomorrow, right? There's nothing like that. Don't forget, pain, pleasure are temporal. Same person that's giving you pain today could give you pleasure tomorrow. It might be a function of understanding that thing, right? So, but when it comes to relationship as a whole, it's not intuitive, right? It's not intuitive. Because you're human doesn't mean you know how to relate. Relationship is something we learn. Relationship as a whole, then relationship in different areas of our life are things that we'll learn, whether it be relationship with our spouse, emotional, romantic relationship with our children, with our parents, with our peers. It can get better. It can get better. And it's not intuitive. We have to learn it, right? We have to learn it. We can get better, right? We can get better. It's not intuitive, right? Relationship is not by instinct because we think we're human beings. There's a way to relate with another human being, which comes by, which you learn, right? It's not automatic because what you think is right for you might not necessarily be right for that person. Both of you have come from different backgrounds, different experience, different history, so there are ways, there's a skill to relationship, right? And if you're socially fit, then you know that and you're able to adapt all right. You don't take that for granted. Same thing when we talk about physical fitness, right? Physical fitness enables you to do things physically, right? I get to exercise, I get to do power training, and I love it because it affects the way I work. It also affects the things I can do. There's some things I can carry easily that some people will not be able to carry, and it did not come up and so on. It's because I carry dead weight. I get to carry dead weight. Those dead weight build my muscle and has increased the things I can carry with ease because I do that in exercise. I can do that in reality. Same thing when it comes to social fitness. You have to learn, you have to practice how to relate with other people. First of all, it's a science and it's an art. There are ways of doing it, but even after you know all the ways of doing it, you will not get it until you do it, right? That's why it is an art, right? There are ways, there are boundary conditions, how to relate are right. But even after you fill your head with all of that, it will not be yours until you practice it, right? Because it is reality, right? There is a science to it, but there's also an art. It becomes yours as you exercise yourself in it, right? As you exercise yourself in it, you build your social fitness, you build your ability to create relationships and also to sustain existing relationships, right? Again, never let it control you. When you exercise yourself in it, then you are in control, right? You do things in measured way. There are people that don't want you to spend too much time with them. You must be able to read that, right? And know how to carry yourself. There are people that love to be hugged. There are people that don't like to be hugged. You know, but you're gonna that comes by learning. First of all, there's a science to it. You understand personalities, right? But then you have to exercise it also, right? So that all of that just saying around what Akin de Great said, that love is a skill, relationship is a skill, you know, social integration is a skill, right? And it's there to be learned, right? You learn the science and then practice it also, so that you can then be skillful at it, right? It's a skill to be learned. It's not just an emotion to be felt, right? It's not just an emotion to be felt, right? The other side that Akin goes on and says is that our error is to suppose that we are born knowing how to love, how to relate, that managing a relationship might therefore be intuitive and easy. It's not true. It's not. It's not. If you've grown up to any age, you know that. It's not. It's not. Right? If you've lived with anybody for any length of time, you know it's not. Right? And it's not just romantic relationship, it's relationship in every area of our lives, right? It's not intuitive. We got to learn it. We got to learn it. We got to learn it. We have to understand that some people are quiet, some people are noisy, right? Some people are introverts, some people are extroverts. You know, you have to understand different personality. What works for A doesn't work for B. What works for B doesn't work for C, right? You got to know that, and you have to practice it as you engage people, right? Even when you look at the Holy Book, the Bible says that do unto others as you would love them to do to you, right? Right, which is you want people to relate with you in certain ways because of who you are. That's the way you should relate with other people because of who they are, right? You gotta respect them, respect their person, respect their feedback also, respect their boundary conditions also, right? And this comes by learning. This comes by practice. You can get better at doing it, right? And that's the way you face life. That's the way you lean into life. You lean into life. You come into life to overcome, to thrive, right? To reign in it, to enjoy it, not to avoid it, right? There is a way to live. There is a way to relate. There is a way to walk. There is a science to it, but there also is an art to it. You have to practice. You have to make it yours. Make it yours. Right? It's got to go from your head to your heart to become who you are. Right? So that you can be socially fit. So that you can have the right social engagement in your life. Right? We talked about loneliness, right? Loneliness is when you are not having the right social engagement in your life. And there are a lot of people that are lonely. Depression is an epidemic, that is kind of common around us today. Why? People don't know how to relate. People are not socially fit. Especially now that we have the onset, people can have the excuse to spend time away from people. You will not know how to relate with other people until you relate. Same thing we talk about praying, right? There's a science to prayer. There's an art to prayer, right? You can learn all the things about prayer, how to fall and dive, all of that. But you're not going to become a prayer until you pray. You can know everything about relationship, but you're not going to be socially fit until you relate. You can know everything about exercising, power training. You're not going to be physically fit until you practice it, you exercise it, right? So it's an error to think that's intuitive. Social fitness is not intuitive. Being a friendly person is not intuitive. It comes from learning. It comes from practice. You have to learn, you have to practice for it to be yours, right? And that's where you lean into life. That's where you win in life, right? The biggest thing in life to making it in life, right, is the ability to relate with someone else, right? Probably about 10% of what makes you succeed in life or less, probably 4% of what makes you succeed in life is what you know. The remaining is your ability to relate with other people. Your ability to relate with other people. Where your certificate will not get you to, your ability to relate with other people will get you there. Today we'll call it emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is not intuitive. It comes from learning and practice. Learning and practice. Learning and practice. You're not going to make it in life if you don't know how to relate with other people. Let's go on. So Ellen goes on and says that few things promise us greater happiness than our relationships, right? And this is the whole essence of this book, says that the way to get to live life to the optimum is by relationship. But the same relationship that gives us life also has pain. Also has pain. What gives us life also has pain. Our ability to go past the pain is what will give us the riches that it has inside of it. Remember, roses do have thorns. It's not that thorns have roses, but roses do have thorns, right? We don't go for the roses because of the thorns, but because of the roses that we want, we have to live with the thorns. Because of the pleasure, the life that we want from relationship, we have to endure the pain that it brings. And that pain is not to kill us. That pain is to make us, right? Our ability to master that pain is what gives us the reward, the pleasure, the life, the goodness, the fun, the beauty of knowing someone else, having someone who sees you, who knows you, right, and loves you and cares, right? That's what we're looking for. Something inside of us looking for someone who can see us. Can you see me? Can you see me? You know, the word intimacy, that's what it means. It says intimacy, right? And that's what it means to be intimate with anybody. It's not just the physical, but really intimacy is intimacy. So we're all looking for someone that can see us, someone that can hear us, someone that can care, someone that can love us, right? And then gonna come until you expose yourself to somebody. I mean, not naked, I mean socially, right? Socially, right? Relating with people. You have to step out. He that would have friends must show himself friendly. The easy way to have friends. Show yourself friendly. Step out and be a friend to somebody, right? That it comes with its risk, it comes with its price. But that's the way to live. But we gotta learn how to do it, and we have to practice it, right? There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it right. There's a way to do it wrong, right? To master it, to thrive in it, we have to understand that and use it, right? So, just like I said, pain and pleasure are natural motivators. By the virtue of the stream of life, sometimes we develop coping styles to these things, right? You know, the extreme of this is when people begin to then have dual personality, right? When people have dual personalities, it's an avoidance of pain that creates that. When someone goes through extreme pain, they seemingly imagine, they enter into themselves to be able to deflect that pain. And sometimes they create another personality just to be able to dissolve the pain, right? That's one way by which people get into that mental sickness condition of having dual personalities. It's always about pain. It's a deflection of the pain. You assume or create a personality in your mind that is able to then take that pain, right? And sometimes you do that so much that you lose yourself. That's probably one of the reasons why people then cut themselves, is because they internalize that situation so much, it deflect the pain, they lose the sense of feeling, right? So they cut themselves pretty much to say, I'm still alive, just to feel pain, just to feel again. Their sense of feeling has gone by the way they have the coping styles, the coping mechanism they've developed to seemingly run away from pain, right? You rarely do that for pleasure. It's pretty much pain that leads to that. And it's not necessarily physical pain, it's psychological pain, social pain, you know. Someone has disappointed you, someone has neglected you, you know, and things like that. Those are pain, psychological pain, social pain. And sometimes we develop a mechanism to cope with them, right? And sometimes it's okay if we develop it and we're in control of them, but